I mentioned we have some good news coming out of South Dakota. It's good to have some positive development on this front. There was a bill introduced yesterday in South Dakota to protect minors from these life-changing experimental surgeries, the Help Not Harm bill. If passed into law, this bill would actually prohibit doctors from prescribing cross-sex hormones, performing genital surgeries, interfering with healthy puberty of children, all these things that are even disgusting for us to mention and talk about. Fortunately, there are some representatives who are standing up in behalf of children. We're talking about children here who are not even really able to make decisions like this on their own. But it's encouraging to have state legislators drawing the line on this issue. Joining me now to discuss this is the prime sponsor of the Help Not Harm bill, State Representative Bethany Soye. She represents the 9th District in South Dakota. Representative Soye, welcome to Washington Watch. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Thank you for having me on.
Well, listen, it's a pleasure, and all of us say hats off to you. A huge thank you for taking a position. This has really become a hot button issue in your state. Is this why you found it necessary to introduce this bill? Because it is something that is so prominent right now in South Dakota.
Yeah, definitely. We have had attempts in the past to do similar legislation, but there wasn't as much in the media. It wasn't as much in the forefront. So the argument was, oh, it's not happening in South Dakota. But now you really can't deny, because Sanford is just being so upfront with what they're doing.
Well, they really are. I don't know if you saw it, but last week here on Washington Watch, our typical host, normal host, Tony Perkins, the president, he spoke with Nate Hotman. He's the reporter who actually uncovered just how much business interest and how much money has influenced the whole issue of the transgender ideology. Are you expecting this same type of pushback on your bill? Are you and others who support this going to become a huge target right now of opposition? What are you expecting?
Yeah, there will definitely be opposition. I mean, from the normal activist groups, and then also from the hospital, I'm sure. But I think there are just so many more people behind it this time that it's going to kind of spread out the target. And I do think there are more people that support it than will be against it.
Okay, well, let's talk about this. So this is gaining support. You've got good support with other representatives. Tell us what it's looking like. What is the movement, the momentum behind this looking like right now?
Yeah, so we just introduced the bill yesterday, and we had a big press release with a lot of people there. And it's been assigned to committee, but we don't have a hearing yet. But we're really gaining momentum with House sponsorship and with citizens who are contacting their legislators. So I think that's really going to help.
Oh, I think that's going to be an enormous help whenever you have constituents calling out. So are you seeing then a kind of a grassroots effort developing from constituents across the state calling their representatives? Is there like an organization, or probably multiple? What is happening on the grassroots to help push this forward?
Yeah, there was a big grassroots effort last week to do a protest in front of the Gender Identity Summit in Sioux Falls that Sanford was sponsoring. And that really started to build, especially the local media momentum. And we have several groups across the state that are really getting fired up.
That is awesome. We actually reported on that protest here on Washington Watch. So walk us through the bill. You've introduced HB 1080. What does this do? If it is signed into law, what kind of protections will it provide?
Yeah, so for patients under 18, it bans 3 things. It's puberty blocking drugs, cross-sex hormones, and then the surgeries, the cosmetic surgeries. And it's very specific that says these 3 things are being used for the purpose of attempting to change someone's biological sex. And then the way that it's enforced is that whoever the health provider is that either prescribes this medicine or performs these surgeries, they will lose their license. And then there's also a private cause of action for the child to recover damages.
Wow, that's tremendous. So what's your gut feeling? How is this going to go as the legislature? I know it's got to go through committee. Did you say it has or has not yet been assigned to a committee?
It was assigned to Health and Human Services, but we don't have the date set yet.
Okay, but the process is underway. It's going to get a hearing. What do you anticipate from that specific committee? And coming out of there, what would you anticipate with the legislature as a whole?
Yeah, I am really hopeful in the House. I mean, we have, I think, close to 25 sponsors already signed on. So I think that it's going to do very well in the House. The problem in South Dakota is usually more on the Senate side. So that's where it's a little bit more uncertain. And we have yet for the executive branch to take a stance one way or the other.
Okay, I was going to ask where the executive branch is on this. So to this point, there's been no position from the governor.
That's correct.
Wow. Well, listen, I want to again, Representative Soye, say thank you, a huge thank you for introducing this bill and leading the way on this. We have tons of people all across the country who are listening and watching right now, aware of the incredible position that you are taking and your colleagues to help protect children from these devastating surgeries. And I just want to encourage our listeners, our watchers right now to keep you and your colleagues in prayer as this incredibly important issue continues to go forward. How can people stay in touch with what's happening? Is there a special, is there some way that you would encourage people to stay on top of this issue?
Yeah, we actually have a website set up for the bill. It's helpnotharmsd.com. And our press release is posted there. The actual legislation is posted there, and we'll continue to put updates as the process goes along.
Representative Soye, thank you so much for your incredible leadership, and we're grateful for you joining us this evening on Washington Watch.
Thank you so much.